And joining me now to discuss the recent tweet of the U.S. President Donald Trump on Turkey is Mr. Taha Arvas, a financial columnist. Thank you very much for being with us. Now, Mr. Arvas, many developments have taken place in Syria over the last few weeks. Initially, on the 19th of December, the U.S. President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. troops will withdraw Syria. But 2 weeks into it, we saw that his advisor completely changed what the president said. And now, after a few weeks of progressive talks, the president is threatening the economy of one of its key NATO ally. What's your take on that?
I think the first thing to note is the tweet that we're talking about. Trump doesn't say, "I will devastate the Turkish economy," or "we will," or "the United States will." He says, "will." The exact words are, "will devastate the Turkish economy." So you can read that in one of two ways. You can either say yes, but before when he said "will," he was talking about himself personally, and so we need to read it that way. Or you can read it as saying Turkey going into Syria, fighting with the Kurds, will devastate the Turkish economy. I don't believe it's the first one. I just don't think it would be wise at all for him to say that. I mean, he's going to have to be on the phone with the president of Turkey soon, and I think it will make for a very bad conversation. And I think we have to give him some credit that that's not in his best interest to say that. Having said that, there is an election in the United States very soon by U.S. terms. We already have we have several presidential U.S. candidates, nominees that have nominated themselves and say that they're running. So it's very important for them, for Trump rather, to get ahead of any traction that these candidates may have. So what part of these tweets is to Turkey, to the Middle East, to the Kurds, maybe even? I think none of it is. I think this is all for his domestic audience. I think what he's trying to say here is trying to appease his prospective voters and other Republican senators that have a vested interest in prolonged war in Syria. War is great business for a lot of people, and so they like U.S. troops being in harm's way, fighting wars. Thousands and thousands of people die in these wars. Generally, poor people die in these wars. No senator is sending his kid over there to fight in these wars. So they don't really care, to be honest with you. And they want, it's good business. They get donations from military, from defense companies. I think Trump is genuinely interested in stopping this war. He just tweeted at the end of that string of tweets something like "stop wars" or something like that. And I think he believes that. I think he thinks that the U.S. being spread all over the world and fighting all these wars isn't good for the United States. And so I don't think his tweet was trying to provoke Turkey and to say that, I'm going to ruin your economy. I think what he was trying to say was, this will devastate your economy if you get in. And who knows if he's the one who actually said that. Bolton almost walks back all of Trump's comments. And so we don't know if Trump is writing these tweets. We have no idea if, he's just doing it to pay lip service. We have no idea if he's just giving us a heads up and saying, listen, I'm going to be saying some bad things about you, but it's only to make me look good in domestic politics. So these are all possibilities.
Okay, now, Mr. Arvas, talks were moving in a positive direction until John Bolton went to Israel. Right after that, statements changed on Syria, and this tweet came out. Do you think somehow Israel persuaded the United States in changing the stance on Syria?
Maybe not Israel per se. Maybe supporters. Listen, Bolton is the architect of the Iraq War. The death and destruction in the Middle East, him and Cheney, frankly, are the result, of the policies of these people. I mean, he's the least successful politician. Who knows why? Actually, we know why Trump chose him, because he wanted to appease that wing of his party. The man is a politician. This is a fact. So he wants to. So Bolton is in there. Who knows how much of this he will listen to? I mean, Trump has gone through a total of 6 chiefs of staffs, Secretary of Defense and Secretary of State since his inauguration in '87. He appoints people that he thinks will be good for him or will do what he wants, and at the same time will please the party. He appointed the previous head of the Republican Party, of the Republican Committee, as his chief of staff. Reince Priebus was his first chief of staff, and he campaigned on Drain the Swamp. He did exactly the opposite with his first appointment. So I think there's no illusion that Trump is a politician. He's a very successful politician, and he's worried about the next election. He needs to get ahead of it. So in that respect, did John Bolton go over there to Israel and get some pushback from the Israelis and change course? Maybe. Does Israel have a vested interest in the Kurds continuing to fight against Turkey? Maybe. I don't know. They were the first country to recognize the KRG, which was, the only country, frankly, to recognize the KRG. So these are all question marks. I mean, I don't know why they would do such a thing, because they're supposedly so huge on anti-terror, but they were very much pro-terror in that instance.
All right. Taha Arvas, thank you very much for talking to us on ANews.
Thank you.